I was really surprised to hear you say that you weren't bothered by people not willing to engage with the stuff that you were saying now. Because I've put out some new ideas as well that are very different than the ideas that you're talking about, but still new ideas. And I've been surprised by that too, of that there isn't more. There's been a lot of engagement from certain people and really positive engagement, but there's been a few who are not willing to intellectually engage. And what you said about conscious raising groups, it's something I've heard a couple people in Intactivism talk about creating, and I hope they do because I think it would be really great. But that is a shift that I've noticed from a willingness to discuss. I don't really have the language for it yet, but I think I am perhaps more bothered by it than you are. I mean, I have the same attitude that I know, okay, well, if someone leaves my life, then the people who are more drawn to who I am now are going to fill that space at some point. But there's a part of me that, when someone, even if there's an intellectual disagreement, there's still a part of me that's like, yeah, but I'd like you to treat me nicely. I'd like you to treat me the way that would make sense in a relationship, where in my relationships, if someone disagrees with me, I still try to be a good person to them. And what I notice in the stories that you've told and in my own experience is that very often ideas or disagreements become an excuse for relational violence. In other words, because that person has a new idea or has shared a part of themselves or something that is not something that this other person wants to go along with or agrees with, that then makes it okay to do things like ghost them or badmouth them or break contact or insult them or say mean things about them to third parties, all sorts of stuff like that, where that wouldn't be okay in any other context. And it actually wouldn't even be okay if the person you were doing it to had done something in the relationship that was bad. In other words, two wrongs don't make a right. And so I guess I'm surprised to hear you say that wouldn't bother you. I mean, did it at some point and then you just sort of worked through it yourself and changed your perspective? Or was it always like, no, this is my truth and I'm fine?
I won't say it bothered me. I would say it surprised me, but it wouldn't be the first time because the circumcision issue also separated friends from those who weren't. Um, I guess I don't mourn the loss of people who don't get it. Who or who would use that as a reason to say, okay, well then forget it. We're not going to be friends. Um, yeah, I can't say I'm bothered. I fortunately, with both of those issues, I've had people come back to me and say, "Oh, I get what you were saying," and that's a really nice feeling, of course, because we want validation. We want, um, I. It's not that I want to be right, but I want to get to the truth, and I feel that I do. By the time I open my mouth about it, I hopefully have thought about it enough to believe what I'm saying is the truth, that I'm speaking the truth that as I found it. And I'll change that if I find more information. But I am hopeful that those who don't yet get it, whether whatever the issue is, will, or they'll help inform me if I've missed something. Please, enlighten me.